This is an interview on Tuesday, November 24th, 2020, with Firing Squad guitarist Jack Weiss by Nick Burkell. Now, Jack, can you tell me about getting your very first guitar?
I got my first guitar when I was like 12 or 13. It's a Christmas gift from my parents, and it was the Adrian Smith from Iron Maiden signature Jackson.
Now, did you ever take any lessons or use any private tutors over the years?
Like a year after I got that guitar, I started going to this like after school music program in Woodstock called the Rock Academy, and that's also where the Scott Ian camp was.
Can you tell me about the music program you were part of that Scott Ian was leading?
Well, it's like 5 years ago. I think was the first time he came, and it was like a week long songwriting and performance workshop with him and Brendan Small from Metalocalypse was at the first one too. Yeah, it was basically just like getting some cool insight from those guys and about everything from performing to song structure and lyrics, and it was a really great opportunity. And that's where I met Will Lang, the singer of our band, and Elliot, the bass player.
Now, you want to add anything else to that, or you good on that question?
Yeah, that's about it.
Now, what is it like being a part of the Woodstock music scene, and how much bleed over is there with the Poughkeepsie scene, or do you view them as like independent of one another?
As far as Woodstock goes, there's really not that many young bands. There's us, and then my friend Mackie plays in a band too, and
What's his band?
they're called the Bobby Lees. They actually got signed like last year. They have a record out, and they're more of like a bluesy kind of rock band, and blues like white people blues is big in Woodstock. I'd say the majority of the quote unquote music scene is like old, older kind of dudes with an acoustic guitar and singing their hearts out.
Now, can you fill me in on your lineup right now for Firing Squad?
Well, I play rhythm guitar. Will Lang is the vocalist and lead guitar player. Elliot Mangione is our bassist, and our drummer is Alan Rosenbaum. He's a great drummer. He's only 15, actually.
Now, how do you keep up to date with your music news? Like, are you using like podcasts, alt weeklies, zines, or anything like that?
I use Twitter a lot, social media, um, word of mouth, kind of, and then of course like the online publications.
Has Firing Squad been in any like published articles yet?
Yeah, not by like you know big places or anything, but some cool smaller metal blogs, and a friend of mine named Ethan that I met at college in Oneonta has this great blog, and he's written about us a couple of times.
What's the name of his blog?
He changed the name. I'm pretty sure now it is like music reviews from the end of the world, something like that. Really cool guy named Ethan Tepper. He's also a musician. He plays some really weird kind of Ween influenced music. Very cool stuff.
Now, dude, what was going through your mind getting to open for Death Angel for your very first show?
Yeah, it was. We were super psyched to hear about that show, and it was kind of like floating around that Death Angel were coming to the Chance, and we gig. It was crazy because we had just started the band, like barely like a month after we started rehearsing. We heard about that show, I think. We were able to get on it, and luckily, a couple days before that, we were able to snag like a warm up gig at Dark Side Records in Poughkeepsie, so we weren't totally raw for the first real show.
Now, for your song "Police State of Mind," when did you write that song, and has its meaning changed for you as the year has gone by?
It came there pretty quickly, just as all that news was breaking over the summer of the protests against police violence, and we wrote it in July, and then we started rehearsing it in August, and we recorded it at the beginning of September, and then it came out a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week or two ago at this point, and pretty quick turnaround, which I'm happy about. And but yeah, I think not much has changed at all. The kind of I think the message of the song really speaks for itself. It takes a pretty significant, stand, I think. And yeah, it's police brutality is a serious problem. It's been around for a long time and not going anywhere at this rate.
Now, you shot a video for American Carnage in February. Can you tell me how that show went?
That was cool. That show was at a place called Dad Shack in Oneonta, where we go to college. It's a house venue. I'm pretty sure it's not there anymore because the dudes who ran it graduated. Yeah, we had played a few shows in Oneonta leading up to that, so we were kind of getting people familiar with us, and we there were a couple other cool bands on that show, and it sold out. Yeah, it was super fun, crazy energy. All the kids were, moshing and everything. And we had these two really talented photographer, videographer girls that we know from Oneonta shoot the video for us. Super DIY, it didn't cost any money, and it was cool.
Now, you covered Death Like Silence for your EP. Just wondering, are you guys big Teutonic thrash metal fans?
We actually, Death Like Silence is a song that we wrote a couple years ago, and about like the black metal shit in Norway, Euronymous and Varg and everything. We
Uh,
named after the Death Like Silence Productions. We actually wrote it before we even knew that they named the label after the Sodom song, which was pretty funny to find out. And yeah, it's kind of like I think it's an outlier in our catalog because the rest of our music is pretty like political or environmentally, you know, conscious or like that's really what we write about. And that song is just like about those guys killing each other and stuff.
what would you say you're more of a fan of? Like the Big Four of Germany or like the old school Norwegian black metal scene?
I really love Dark Throne and early Mayhem. I really I only listen to Mayhem with Dead or what's his name, Maniac, the dude on Death Crush.
Yeah.
The classic Norwegian shit is what me and Will really like.
Oh, dude, you ever get into Windear?
No, actually, I don't know who they are.
Okay, they were probably one of the best Norwegian black metal bands of the early 2000s. Just look up the album 1184 and dude, do you have a record player?
Yeah, I do.
Dude, you might want to really hustle because check this out. I think Season of Mist has put out a complete box set of their entire discography onto vinyl with only 1184 copies. And like their best album was probably 1184, so it's kind of like, you need to move if you care about that, but
That's cool, man.
seriously, check out that album. If you dig Norwegian black metal, you'll love it. I guess. Do you have any really cool things in your music collection from the Norwegian black metal scene?
I actually I don't have any physical copies of any of that stuff. I really have only had enough money to start buying records like within the last couple of years. And something really cool that I bought like a couple weeks ago is "Give Me Convenience" or "Give Me Death." Totally, obviously not black metal. It's Dead Kennedys, their compilation album from I think '87, but it has like the original flexi disc that came with it, and the zine, and even like the alternative tentacles, like paper advertising the other records they have. And so that's something cool vinyl that I bought recently. But no, I don't have any. I don't have any of the Norwegian shit yet.
Tell me about the single you've alluded to from your interview posted earlier with the German YouTuber.
Yeah, that's something we've been working on. We actually started writing that song like a year ago. It's basically done. It's our longest song, but probably not that long by other bands' standards. It's like 6.5 minutes. It's way like shreddier, way more technical, kind of like some Vector influence, and back to like some like environmental kind of lyrics. And we're gonna record it maybe like end of this year or early 21, and it's probably gonna come out in the spring.
What is your most cherished instrument?
I got this cool Jackson V last year that I really dig, and it's probably it plays great, sounds great. That's definitely my favorite guitar.
Now,
It's not like vintage or anything like that.
yeah.
It's super cool.
Now, what is your favorite ghost story or urban legend from Woodstock, New York?
My favorite urban legend from Woodstock is the fact that people think the Woodstock Festival actually took place like in town when it happened like an hour and a half away from where Woodstock actually is. And I used to work at a music shop right in town, and people from like across the world would come in. Like specifically, there was this French family that came in and was like, "So where did the festival happen? Like, was it over there?" And I was like, "No, it happened like an hour and a half away from here. You're in the wrong county." And the disappointment on their faces was priceless.
Funny. Now, would you like to go back to any questions?
That sounds good to me, man.
Final words.
Fucking stream "Police State of Mind" by Firing Squad. It's a great song.
Thank you. This has been an interview on Tuesday, November 24th, 2020, with Firing Squad guitarist Jack Weiss by Nick Perkel.